What's up, everybody? This is MC Aggie St. James. This is my daily video vlog number 123. I went out today with my sister Tara and her son Ramsey and my daughter and me, and we went to Panera's, and I had a really good time. And then we went to the park and we made some memories, and I cherish the little things in life more now as I'm getting older than I ever have. So I had a really nice time today, and it really helped to get my mind off of my current financial situation and with this job or lack thereof. But it really was a good time for me, and for all of us. We all had a blast, and so I'm back at the house, and y'all know I follow Yellowstone on a daily basis. I just don't always talk about Yellowstone unless I feel like it's something that needs to be discussed or brought to y'all's attention. But I did want to mention this, that I was doing some more research on Yellowstone today, and I found I was reading about Yellowstone, and apparently there are military choppers that are now going over Yellowstone supervolcano on a 24/7 basis. I seriously doubt that they are flying over Yellowstone supervolcano because it's just such a fucking beautiful view, or because they just simply have nothing else to possibly do. I seriously doubt that that is the case. I think, which is what I've always thought, and I'm not the only one, that there is something going on with Yellowstone supervolcano that the USGS and the president and the rest of the people who are involved with this super volcano do not want us to know. But for whatever reason, they have informed the military, the U.S. military, and now we've got military choppers flying over the top of Yellowstone supervolcano on a 24/7 basis. So I'm pretty sure that they're supposed to be looking for some type of activity, for which then they get on their little walkie-talkies or phones or whatever, and they're like, yeah, we see this going on, and then that's how, whatever's whatever. So I'm not sure what's going on with that, but like I stated before, and just recently, just now, I seriously doubt that it's because the view is just that beautiful, and they have nothing else to do but just circle over Yellowstone supervolcano. So it makes you think, you know what I mean? It just really makes you think, So, I've just been thinking a lot today about, how my life was growing up in a single parent home, and just how it was for me, because I grew up in a broken home. My parents got divorced when I was like six years old. 6 or 8. It was either 6, 7, or 8. And it was tough, but my father was an alcoholic, and he was abusive to me. And so I think my mother did the right thing. But it just got me thinking about relationships and everything. And I go on Facebook, and I'm checking my messages or going through my comments, and I'm looking up at what people have posted about their relationships and what's going on in their lives. And it just got me to thinking about my life, and how it was for me when I was a little girl and growing up without a father there. But it was what's funny is that I was at a gas station the other day. There's the one across the street from my house, and it was late at night, and it was me and the cashier, who I've gotten to know kind of well. She's this cool chick, and we were just talking about, stuff like that, and relationships, and some people came in that were kind of around her age, like I'm 33 and she's like 36, I think, or something like that. But anywho, so we were talking, and these people, this guy and some other girls, they weren't together, they were just waiting in line or whatever, and they kind of got in on the conversation, so to speak. And this one guy, he was like, I think 36 or 38, whatever, in his late 30s. And he just started telling us, that he just recently decided to go back to the mother of his children. I hate to say baby mama and baby daddy. I think that's just... So he said that he just recently had decided to go back to her and the kids. And, he told me, he was like, I've always been a good father. And, like, you could tell he had some sense. He wasn't like, like you could tell, that he was genuine in what he was saying, and so he just proceeded to tell us how, he's always been a part of his kids' life and everything. He didn't tell us how old they were or anything, but he said that he had just recently decided to go back to her, but he doesn't know if he made the right decision. And so, I was like, well, what makes you think that? And so he was like, because I don't know if I'm truly in love with her, and that's why I went back, or if it's just because I went back because it was the right thing to do. And so, I'm just listening to this man. I'm not, trying to be all up in his business, but I'm trying to let him know that I'm listening, and I'm interacting with him. And it was like a few other people there, and the cashier lady, and it was late at night, so it wasn't like, there's a strip club across the street, so everybody was at the strip club, minus a few people outside getting gas, paying for it, and then walking back out, But, so we were just talking, and he was just like, I just don't know if I went back for the right reasons. And so, and that's why I asked him, what makes you think that? And that's what he said. And I said, well, I think it's best to come from a broken home than to, actually live in one, because you're causing more damage than anything, I think all children should have both parents in the home. And he agreed with me. He said, I just don't know if it's because I'm in love with her and she's the only one I want to be with for the rest of my life, or if I just went back for the kids. And I just sat there listening to him, and I just got to thinking, 9 out of 10, those are usually the relationships that never last. Your intentions may be good, but if your heart, if your heart isn't in it, like if that's the part, like if you just are kind of torn, then instead of coming in and out, going in and out, maybe it's best that you just don't go back. Still be there for your kids, but instead of playing the field with the same person, you know what I mean? So, the conversation just kind of got cut short, and, he went his way, I went my way, and the cashier, of course, she was working, so she couldn't leave, and the other women left, and we just all kind of left. It was kind of really short, but a lot was revealed in that short time, you know what I mean? And, but it just got me to thinking, like I said, about my own life as a kid, and how my father wasn't there, and the only difference was that my father honestly was never there for me. When my parents got divorced, he just left, and that was it. And I don't really want to get too much into that right now, because it's a real emotional, it was a real tough time, but I'll talk about it, but that's not what I want to make this vlog about, is my father. But he passed away in 99, by the way. Just wanted to throw that out there. So, but it just got me to thinking, how many people, go back to relationships. Another thing that he had mentioned was the history that they had. He was like, we've known each other a long time. I think his kids were a little bit grown. I'm not sure. They could have been younger. He didn't specify, damn it. But, he had mentioned how they had history together. And I just got to thinking, how, it's never easy to start over with anybody. You know what I mean? And I mean, it just got me to thinking, about relationships and how people are, And I mean, if you honestly love the person that, helped to get you pregnant, if you honestly love that man, then by all means try to make it work, But it's got to be the same on his end too, or it's really just one person in the relationship. You feel me? And sometimes, honestly, I don't think it's always best to go back just for the kids, because they're going to see that and they're going to sense that void. You know what I mean? That's not coming from your heart, whether it's the woman or whether it's the man. I don't know. It just got me to thinking, because life is short and everybody deserves to be happy, and everybody deserves to be with someone who they know loves them and only wants to be with them till the day they die. And, I just think a lot of times, especially in this day and age, I think a lot of times people just stay in relationships out of habit, or people will stay in relationships because there's just so much history and they just don't want to think about having to start all over with someone new and getting to learn the person and possibly risking the possibility of getting hurt all over again. And if there are kids involved, you always want to be there for your kids, as you ought to be. Every parent should be. But you can't force something that may not be meant to be. And the only thing I ever wanted from my father was to just keep his promise to me and be there for me, and he wasn't. And it took a lot of years for me to get over that. It really took a lot of years for me to get over that. But I can honestly say at 33 that I did. I can honestly say that. And God knows I'm telling the truth. But it took a while to get over that scar, to heal from it, and to move forward. And so, I just think maybe, and everybody's situation is different, but it just got me to thinking, I wouldn't, I haven't, like I've stated before, Egypt's father has not wanted anything to do with her, and I haven't spoken with him since I was 3.5 months pregnant, and she is almost 5 years old. She'll be 5 December 12th of this year. But I got to thinking, I would never ever, for one, I would never ever go in a relationship with him. And second of all, I would never be the type of person that would go back to try to make it work, if that makes any sense. I believe people have a history for a reason, but I think a lot of people stay in relationships because of history and not because of true love. And sometimes it works out, but sometimes it doesn't. And then all the years that you put toward trying to make it work, if it doesn't work, then it actually does more harm than good to the kids, I think, than anything else. Because at the end of the day, whether there's a mom and a dad in the same home living together or not, what the kids want, the only thing children want is love and affection, and undying love and affection from their father and their mother. And of course, they're not going to understand if their parents aren't together. But in time, they will. And in time, if it wasn't healthy for them to stay together, then, or maybe not healthy, maybe it would be healthy if they were together, but one of the other two people's hearts isn't in it completely, then they're gonna, like I said, they're going to pick up on that. And you're really doing more damage than good. And you're also settling for a relationship that, you know, you're only really staying in because of history and because there's kids involved. So it just got me to thinking about my life, you know, and the choice my mother made and the choice she could have made, which was to stay because of the history and, you know, but, you know, and like I said, it hurt not coming from a single parent home, and I got picked on it a lot. But now that I'm older, I get it, and I understand. And I guess for me, you know, I was engaged at one point. I've mentioned this once before. I was engaged at one point, and I'm not going to get all into that now, but it didn't work out, thank God. But we were together for over 5 years, and you know, I got comfortable with him. I got comfortable with him. And I'm glad it didn't work out, because it just wouldn't have been a good thing. It really was not a healthy relationship at all. But I guess the point I'm making is, you know, everybody deserves to know that that the man that they're in love with, that his heart is entirely theirs till the day they die, and vice versa. And no, nobody can guarantee anything is going to work out. But I think, you know, the worst thing to do is to go back to a relationship because it seems like the right thing to do. But then again, that's just my opinion, especially if there's kids involved. Because, you know, it's really touchy, you know. You know, sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. But I would never, ever, ever stay with a person, especially if there were kids involved, but regardless if there were children involved or not, I would never stay in a relationship or go back to one if I knew in my heart that that wasn't the person that I thought or saw that I could spend the entire rest of my life with, without question. Because isn't that what a commitment is anyway? Isn't that what marriage is all about? Isn't that what relationships are all about? You know, I see so many people that have, you know, gone back and 10 years later they ended up getting divorced, and one or both of them are like, I don't even know why we ever did this again, you know. And then the kids are grown up, and now they're here trying to find true love at 40 or 50 years old because of a decision that they made to go back when they knew in their heart it was not entirely what they felt like they should do, or whatever, the heart wasn't in it. So I don't know, it just got me to thinking, you know. So I don't know, but you know, that's life, and you learn from your mistakes, and you move forward. And sometimes it's just best to just, you know, I'm not going to give something my all unless I know for a fact I'm going to put all of my heart into it. And so it just makes you question stuff and question life and people. And I hope that guy can figure out what he's going to do for the kids' sake. But it just was crazy because it kind of fell into a time where I was thinking about my life and how it was for me as a kid. And it just kind of like all fell into play or whatever. But it's funny how when you go places, you never know what conversations you're going to start up with strangers. You know what I mean? About your pets, or a fucking Yellowstone maybe blowing, or the fucking, FEMA camps. You just never know. A hey, how you doing could go from a hey, how you doing, and then that's it, to a well, I've been with my wife for 50, you know what I mean? Or I'm having trouble with my girlfriend, she caught me cheating. Or, people, I think, are more willing now to open up and talk to strangers now than ever before, because I think people just want to feel needed. They want to feel heard. They want to know that their voice, that their opinion, that what they're going through matters, especially with all the negativity that's going on in this world and in this current age and everything. So anyway, I did not mean for this vlog to go on 20 minutes. So I'm going to end it. It's almost 7 p.m. It's probably going to take 4 hours, maybe 5, for this vlog to finally upload. So hopefully it will quicker than that. I've got 2 great leads for Monday. I don't know if I've mentioned this yet or not in this vlog, but I've got 2 great leads for Monday. One of them I have to call back on Monday and hopefully get an interview, because the manager told me to specifically call him back this Monday morning to try to get an interview. So I'm hoping that works out. And then I have another lead that came through, and I was told that they're going to be pulling my application at the beginning of this next week, hopefully on Monday. If not Monday, then Tuesday, and then hopefully that might come through. So please keep me in your prayers and in your thoughts. And I'm just trying to stay optimistic in the midst of this. So I love each and every one of y'all. I hope everybody has a nice evening. And this is MC Aggie St. James. And I'm out.